have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Do I have a motion that in our closed session, we only talked about those items identified?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye. The motion carries. So we are officially back in our general session now. We have some guests here, I think, that are gonna help us with the pledge. Is that right? Awesome. I love help, so. They wanna come forward, or?
So they'll be introduced by Ms. Burke.
So we have fifth graders here who are going to help us with the pledge. You ready?
All right, you can all stand.
Stand.
Fifth graders will kick us
All
off.
right, ladies and gentlemen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, first up, we have our consent agenda. We'll have an opportunity to read our minutes from our general meeting on the 17th and our called meeting. If there are no questions, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
No other discussion, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We have two recognitions next up. Dr. Frazier.
Good evening, everyone. It's always good to see so many people here. And so we do have some recognitions for this month. And so we will start with School Psychology Awareness Week. We've also celebrated American Education Week, National Education Support Professionals Day, which is today, National Family Week, Native American Heritage Month, and Family Engagement in our Schools Month. And now we will have Ms. Britt, who will introduce our Student of the Month and our Teacher of the Month for the elementary school, and then Ms. Bird will follow.
Good evening. So it is my pleasure to let you know that Harper Wills was selected as the WPES Student of the Month. Her teachers report that she has never-ending kindness. She has a constant, hardworking spirit and the ability to bring joy to everyone she meets, and is always finding ways to be creative, whether it's in craft or drawing. We're so proud of Harper. And then our Teacher of the Month is Miss Renee Shannon. She's our music teacher. She is new to us this year. She's made a seamless transition into our division. She has successfully established strong connections with many students and has motivated many of our 4th and 5th graders to participate in Melody Makers, a continued tradition. Her orchestration of a splendid performance for Veterans Day, it was enjoyed by both the school and the community. We eagerly anticipate the stuff that she has planned in the future. Her classroom lessons are not only educational, but also enjoyable and engaging for students. We value and commend her positive attitude and friendly demeanor, creating a welcoming environment for both students and staff alike. Within our music program, her energetic enthusiasm, creativity, and planning have not only kept students engaged, but have also nurtured their love for music. Her contributions make her a valuable asset to our school community.
Good evening. So our middle school student of the month is a 7th grader, Carolyn Leggett. She was nominated for her kindness and her hard work. In particular, there was a student in need in the cafeteria. They lost their glasses into the trash bin. And Carolyn just jumped, not literally jumped in the trash bin, but jumped in to help without being asked. And we just really enjoy being able to recognize our students who are doing the right thing every day without being prompted, without being asked. And she definitely is one of those students. Our 10th grader high school student of the month is Catherine Roberts. Her teachers nominated her for being respectful and hardworking. And they also were very quick to say that she has a strong moral compass and is a great role model for others. They enjoy having her class because she chooses to do the right thing and encourages others to do the same. So we certainly appreciate those two students. And then our teacher of the month was here last month making a presentation, Mr. Cole. And I love the students' comments about Mr. Cole. They say he's always there for them. That's their relationship piece. He explains things in a way that helps students remember and helps them learn math in a fun way. He takes time out of class to individually help us, and he understands when students make a mistake. He also sponsors our D&D club, and they think he's the best and just a nice guy to know. And I will say instructionally, he is a teacher leader. He has picked up some extra responsibilities, just mentoring math teachers this year, really stepping up to the plate. I love his math class, which that never would have come out of my mouth in high school. But he does. He just makes learning math a joy. So we really appreciate Mr. Cole.
So can we celebrate our teachers and students? It is always refreshing to hear those positive things and the positive difference that our teachers are making, but also our students in our school. So those are our recognitions for the month.
Great, thank you, Dr. Ms. Bird, appreciate that. Next up, we have a presentation. Ms. Skylar, Ms. Foster, are you up?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Hello. Hi. I'm Mary Foster. I teach 5th grade math at the elementary school.
And I'm Tracy Crowder, and I am the 5th grade co-lab special education teacher.
And last year, Ms. Crowder came to me after we did our order of operations unit and had this brilliant idea of setting up an operating room in the class, kind of a classroom transformation, which I see teachers all the time do that on social media. And so we kind of got the ball rolling for that last year. And we did it as kind of a surprise for the kids because y'all didn't know we were doing that, right? So when they walked in that morning, we had the classroom set up. They were really, really excited to see what the day was going to unfold. So.
And we used, I used my teacher funds that I've been allotted every year to purchase the gowns so that we can reuse those every year. So thank y'all for that. And we also used some Teachers Pay Teachers funds to get some of the materials.
And my husband came in clutch with the shoe covers and the gloves. So it was a really great day, and the students had a blast. And so we have 4 students here if they would like to share what their favorite part of the day was, or share something that you remembered from the day. Does anybody want to go first?
Okay.
Just stand up.
Okay. It made learning fun, and I want to be like a nurse when I grow up. So it was like 2 things that I like to do together. That's it.
Thank you, Lily.
That's great.
You got it.
Same as her, I want to be a pediatrician when I grow up, and I also like how it was set up. So, yeah.
Jake.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know James.
I expected a normal math class, but I can't remember. It was actually pretty fun. Same with Jay, and I thought it was just gonna be like normal math that day.
Normal boring math, huh?
It was like all that fun stuff, and I really liked it.
Good. Well, we were glad to do it, and it was probably the coolest thing that I've ever done in. Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. Yeah. And so students of all needs their needs are met, and it's awesome. Everybody was able to engage.
So that's really
Yeah, roll that foot in.
Yep.
Of course we have a video.
Oh, you have a video, good.
Oh, yeah.
That's even better.
So each table had their own, like,
Yeah.
appendage. Yeah. So like we had a brain surgery, and they had the medical tray and everything. And once they solved the order of operations, then they could color that part on the body part, which was on the back of the chart paper. So they had like a patient chart, and so they had to solve each one.
More fun than the weekend. You can go ahead and get dressed too, Henry. Somebody was saying that, you say, that's like, this is stressful.
The stressful music.
I think they were starting to sweat a little.
Ethan's got me right.
It's just like coding at some point.
Yeah, as long as the beat can sing.
Yeah.
That was a little body.
That's your shoe cover.
Multi-purpose.
I'll use some gloves.
Miserable life did it though.
Yeah, they were concerned about making sure that it was new.
Can you see? Can you see? You got your heart surgery.
Trying to save you.
Anybody have any questions?
How long did all of that take?
To set it up?
Yeah, like just everything, start to finish.
It didn't take long to set it up, really.
No, we did it after school the day before.
Yeah. And then we had Waylon we made a video with Waylon, my oldest, putting on everything and showed that to the students before so they could, we still had some putting shoe covers on their heads.
That's great. Well, yeah, I think we all know the deeper the engagement, the better the outcomes. And that's just a super example of making learning fun. So appreciate y'all sharing that with us.
Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you all for sharing.
Thank you.
Yeah, great
Yeah.
job. Glad to see we've got some future medical professionals.
And mathematicians.
Yeah. All right. Next up are reports. So first up, Mr. Lynch, Dream Grant Program. Which yeah, you
Yeah, it's
all
really
are
okay
more-
if you guys want to go when I
Yeah. Thank y'all for coming though.
We need the good stuff.
Bye, y'all.
Bye. Thanks for coming.
I guess I should have that first. Say what you want to leave. So yeah, I want to give a brief update on our Dream Camp program. This is the 9th year of this program. And it's something I think the teachers and the staff look forward to every year. They have to give submit an online application after talking to their building administrators to get approval. And then from there it goes to our leadership team. So in your package, you have a list of all of the different grants that we've been able to fund. This year we have 22 applications, 14 at the elementary school and 8 at the middle school, high school. We have gone ahead and granted 21 of them. The other one we're waiting to hopefully grant in the spring. It was to bring a speaker in to watch a video. So we're just working with that person to see if they can come in the spring to talk about literacy. All in all, it was just over $9,000 that we were able to grant to different staff. And as you start to look at the different things that we've given out to the elementary school, it was interesting to note that all of the requests came from teachers in their 3rd year or less with us. So a lot of our brand new teachers, secondary teachers were looking for things to make their classrooms or their spaces their own. So you can see things from pre-K all the way up to 5th grade and then into our specialist classes. A lot of books, a lot of hands-on materials, drums for the music program, items for our sensory room with Ms. McHouston, who was here recently, and then even down to replacing some tumbling mats in the gym, just as we start looking at safety. And then you go across the parking lot to the middle school, high school. These requests range a lot larger, from brand new staff to us to veteran teachers. And some of those included whiteboard replacement, the theater class, which we started last year. She requested makeup kits to help get them the real feel. So that was a newer class, classroom sets of books. The counselors wanted to take a field trip to Dreamcatchers down near Toano, the Therapeutic Writing Center for small groups. Mr. Ritchie put in for PE shirts for incentives and for those participating in PE and for performance. The aerospace class, which we started last year, Mr. Henrich put in for mini drones. So that's really taking off, and those are students in 8th through 12th grade. And then again, another new class with the sports medicine. Ms. Langford asked for an iPad so the students can get a real feel for what that looks like. And then our counselors also, along with Ms. McNeil, started an art club for students and staff, kind of like a calming art club. So they asked for supplies for that space. So a real wide variety of things. A lot of compliments and a lot of thank yous from staff to continue with this program.
chemistry, is that something beyond the textbook? Okay.
It was a novel,
Okay. Very good.
I think it's for both. Yep. And then the ones at the elementary school were just novel sets, or level readers.
Okay. Next up, weapons detection update, Mr. Walker. I guess that's what these,
Yes.
these things are
Are they
here,
gonna
huh?
start moving on their
No,
own?
that does not happen, but you just give me a second, I'm gonna set these up and bake them.
We just picked up.
I guess I'm getting one. So while this is setting up, I just wanted to kind of give you all an update on kind of where we are, and then a demonstration of kind of where we are in our planning process and procedures, and kind of demonstrate that to you all, so that you can be kind of on the lookout for what we'll be doing here soon. And so just update, we now have the systems, 2 sets for the middle school, high school, and we have a scheduled training for November 28th. That'll be the afternoon of November 28th, with November 29th being our live rollout. The trainer will come see us on November 28th. We will train staff at middle school, high school that afternoon, and then that following morning, they will then return to help us on our first day on our rollout for the live rollout. So obviously, we have lots of preparation that we've been working on to get us to that point. Part of that has been, one, just reaching out to other divisions that are currently using this system, specifically Henrico County, who has been using this since the start of the school year. They have obviously learned ways to be more efficient, right? To make sure, one, that their safety is the main priority, but also being efficient so that they're not impeding instructional time and making sure they can get students in efficiently. And so those are some of the procedures that I will share with you as we move on. We've also been working on communication. So as you'll see here at the end of this week, next week, and at the beginning of the week after Thanksgiving break, we will have different layers of communication going out, letters from Dr. Frazier about the system, informational flyers will also be going out through social media, along with a video that's currently in the editing process. We were able to get some students from the high school, sample students, they were able to practice, but we were also able to show them the procedures and ways that they can be prepared when they approach the system. But ways that we can put the video out early so that the community members, students, parents, visitors can all see that prior to coming, so they know what to expect.
They were actually out here, students.
They were, yeah. Yes. And so some of the things that we are learning about the system, obviously tonight through the demonstration, this has different settings, right? We can change the sensitivity settings to this. And currently it's at the manufacturer setting that it comes to us. And so when we do the training, we will then learn what setting's probably going to be best for us here in West Point. And so again, while we're at the level 2 setting right now, for tonight's demonstration, that may change, right, to more sensitive and things like that, depending on what we feel after the training is best for our school and our students and our staff. We are we've talked about the procedures on how that will look and how we've identified the staff members that will be in place for the security team in the mornings. We have also made a decision to, originally I think when we shared this with you, is using 2 entrance points, but for the rollout, we're going to stream it down to 1 entrance point, both systems at the main entrance, and we're going to have 1 entrance point for that. Reasoning, we're all learning, right? And we're all training, and so to have our team together, learning together, becoming familiar with that, I think we feel would be the best. That meaning we will then secure all the other entrances to the building so that students and staff and visitors will all have to come through the main entrance as we're rolling this out. As we feel more comfortable and as our staff becomes more comfortable with the system, then we can start talking about maybe a second entrance over at the gym entrance, of having that as a second entrance for students and staff to enter as well. But for the rollout, we are definitely only going to use the 1 main entrance with both systems set up there. And so now, as you can see, easy, moving over, these are lightweight and they set up pretty quickly. Once the green lights are on, they're ready to go. There's no cords tonight. But we did order the electrical outlet cords as well, so these can be plugged in, or they run on batteries as well that can be charged, and we can use that. And obviously, what was ideal about this when making that decision was because now we can move these to different locations, whether it's to the football field for a sporting event, to the gym area, or just even just be stationary at in the main entrance. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about our preparation and what we're going to identify as our layers of screening. Okay, and so we have 2 units. We're going to have 2 staff members, 1 per unit, standing at the unit. We will also have a table once students, staff, guests pass through the alarm system here, the screening system. We'll have a table. Because one of the things that we found out is there are some items that are everyday items that this is going to hit on. And I have a couple of those samples here. The large 3-ring binders, the system's going to go off on this. And it's also going to go off on our laptops and Chromebooks. And so one of the things that we've learned from Henrico and other school divisions, and even the company this year just with us, is now that we know that those are things that this will hit on, we can remove those and be prepared. So we can have those out. Well, the reason for having the 2 staff members is, 1, they're going to make sure we go through the system, but we can also hand those items to that person, go through, and then receive it back. And so the reason for our second level, the table and our school security officer, is if it's going to happen, someone's going to forget their Chromebook in their backpack, right? They're going to go through, it's going to go off, and they're going to say, oh, it's my Chromebook, right? We want to provide them that opportunity to quickly take the Chromebook out, the binder, lay it on the table under the supervision of the school security officer, come back through, and that way we can, again, be efficient, but we're also making sure that we're screening. There's going to be times, though, when we do hand these things, these are the items that we know, we identify, we know that these are going to hit. We hand these over, and it does go off, and then at that time, we would have our secondary screening with an administrator who would then work with that student to try to identify what has then set off this alarm in their backpack. And again, it could be other things, right? We know possibly some umbrellas, some water bottles, but we just can't identify all of those, right? And so that's why we would definitely need that secondary screening, just to make sure that we're searching and making sure that we can identify the things that will set it off. And so tonight I kind of wanted to do a little demonstration, if that's okay with you all. Ms. Bird's going to help me. And what we'll do is kind of just show you what you would see for a student. I brought my backpack, and I have my laptop and binders. And so again, we're going to be asking students to be prepared as they come to school, and that they have these things out and prepared. And then when we come in and it's time for our turn, we'll hand them over, and then we will walk through to the system. My system is going to set it off, right? And so now that it's set off, we've identified the 2. We know these are going to hit, right? So we've identified, we know it's not those things. So now we definitely need to go to an administrator for that secondary screening. And then if we went in and we searched the bag, I did put a test piece in here for you all, so that it would go off. Oh gosh. And so this is the test piece that we're using. This piece is provided to us by the company, and this does symbolize this would be a weapon, right? This is what it's picking up on. The metals in here, the shape, right, all indicate a weapon, and that's why it went off. And so we were able to use this, of course, to make sure that the device is working. And so that's kind of the process, right? And so we did provide a video. We are having videos we provided for our students and community members. So that our staff, our students, and then our visitors all can be prepared when they approach this and know what to expect. We anticipate, during training, we're going to learn some things that maybe we didn't think about, that we're going to maybe tweak some things, if we need to, with our staff or how our operations are. We are also going to anticipate there's going to be some road bumps in the first few days, right? And so just being patient so that we can become familiar, comfortable, and that our staff becomes comfortable with it, and then I anticipate that to smooth out pretty quickly. And then obviously we will tier this. Our main priority now is getting our students and staff and visitors in the school day, during the school day, making sure everyone's safe in the building. And then obviously once we get that rolling, we're going to move this into now, let's think about our athletic events, and start thinking about outside organizations that might be using our buildings and how we might want to approach those types of things. And so again, we're tiering that, but our focus on the 29th is really just making sure that our students, staff, visitors all can enter the building and that everyone is safe when they enter the building. Any questions?
So what's the procedure for, like in your case, you set off the alarm even though you gave it. So what do they do for the screening? Because we don't have wands, right?
No,
Okay.
so couple things. One, so I think I'll just kind of go back over so if I can make sure I didn't miss anything. But if I were to walk through, went off, I realize this is my Chromebook, right? We're gonna take the Chromebook out, we're gonna set it on that table, we're gonna go back and go through again. If it stays green, I can grab my Chromebook, we're clear, we can move on. In my case, the one where I went through and it went off, there was something else in there, right? We just had the test piece, but it could, let's just say it was a pocket knife, anything else that we could think that might be a danger to the school. Obviously, it's going off, we have to identify that. And so the administrator would then take them to a secondary location.
Okay.
And then obviously we would have our SRO that would be present, and then there would be a search to make sure that we can identify what is setting the alarm off, right? And hopefully it's just maybe an umbrella on the bottom or something like that, but obviously we have to do that to make sure that we are following through with fidelity. Any other questions?
We're not making any changes right now to regular scheduling to accommodate for getting through this learning curve.
We are not to regular scheduling. The one things that we've talked about is potentially buses that might get there a little earlier. Instead of waiting to dismiss all buses, go ahead and staggering off the buses so that we can kind of get a fluctuation of students in, a big group in. And that way they're not all coming at one time, right? So that's the only thing that we've talked about, changing the schedule, but nothing towards the actual academic schedule and instructional schedule. However, again, first few days we may have to anticipate just some delays there, but hopefully once things smooth out, it won't impact at all in the instructional time.
We'll also work with our school nutrition staff to make sure that if schedules do have to be adjusted, that students can still go to get breakfast and nothing will affect the actual start of the day.
What about, so my daughter has a late in. So what about students that come in, like they're just gonna walk, this will be there, I'm gonna just walk through?
So a lot of things that we're going to leave it up during the day because if we have visitors and everyone who comes in. So a couple things here. So one, I'll let Mr. Leach kind of show you the tablet that he has there. The tablet is linked to this. And as you can see, it's green. And if it were, we can do it just to show. Mr. Leach. As I walk through, if it sets it off, it'll turn red on the screen. And so this can be school security officer who's maybe housed up front can have that with them. We could also have it on the front desks. They can have it as they buzz people in to have them walk through. But the conversations we've had is really having our school security officer be someone who can be present for these visitors and people that are coming in the building for late arrivals, our bridging buses that come back later in the day, welding students, those types of things. When we have students coming back in and out, just making sure that we're screening everyone that comes in the building during the school day. Any other questions?
Just curious, the general feedback from Henrico.
I think things obviously was that it was slow start, right?
Right, yeah.
Hit road bumps along the way, but it has smoothed out. And with them being proactive and having the items that they know they're going to hit, they say about 2 seconds per student to get through and clear, and having the layered screenings allow things just to move more efficiently, right? You're not taking one student and taking lots of time to go in and out, you kind of move it along, having that secondary level. And so that's what we found. And so we're learning from that, so hopefully it will be more smoother for us and a little bit more efficient.
Right. They also had a staggered rollout. So they originally rolled out with high schools at the beginning of the school year, and then maybe about a month ago they rolled out at the middle school level. So they were able to really test it out at the high school level, find out what worked, what did not work. And so that's why we're also fortunate and thankful that we are not rolling it out at our secondary school and our elementary school at the same time. And so the units for the elementary school have not arrived yet, and so we anticipate that we'll be able to start with a rollout in the elementary school close to the first of the year.
So we purchased 2. Where did we purchase 4?
So we have
4. So we'll have 2 at each school. Gotcha.
And with them being versatile too, right? So there are events we can pull from that school if we need to and things like that. But yes, for the school day, it will be 2 per school.
Any other questions?
Just want to say kudos to Mr. Walker for the work that he's done.
Pioneer.
He's been updating the leadership team on this every step of the way. He's worked closely with Mr. Leach, and they have definitely taken the lead on this. But Mr. Walker definitely has done a phenomenal job helping control this. So
Awesome.
stay tuned for the communications that will be going out. We have several different communications out to our students and to our families.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Walker. Thank you, Ms. Bird. Thank you, Ms. Bird.
She's like a man of white, weapons.
Weapons.
Add that to my resume,
All right, moving on. No items under study. We'll move to our action items. First one being consider approving our expense and receive our revenue report. We'll have a chance to review. Questions? A motion to approve expenditures and receive our revenue reports.
So moved.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Any other discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. As well, we have our cafeteria expenditures. Our update last month. I have no questions. I have a motion to approve our cafeteria expenditures.
So moved.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Second. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries. Personnel, closed. No other comments, do I have a motion to accept the personnel recommendations as submitted?
So moved.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the motion carries. We have, one donation. Very nice. Appreciate that.
We got the wife.
Yeah. All right, is there a motion to accept our donation?
So moved.
Motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Next up, our VSBA policy updates. We have a motion to approve any updates.
I received no other feedback, from those policy updates and all the corrections that were made over the last 2 months. I think it's the policy.
So moved.
We have a motion, do we have a second? We have a second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, the motion carries. Next up, BDOE model policies. Dr. Fraser provided us a side-by-side comparison of our existing with the model policy. Do we have a motion to approve the model policy?
So moved.
We have a motion, do we have a second? Any other discussion?
Yeah, I just have a question for Dr. Fraser. I just want to make sure that the current student population will not be impacted by this detrimental behaviors.
For the most part, we have tried to implement as much of this policy, since the beginning of the school year. We worked with, and Dr. Hauser worked with our counselors. We also shared information with administrators from the because we knew that this was potentially, the model policy came out late July, and so that gave us some time before school started to start working through it. And so I believe that, there may always be some that question some of it, but I believe that we'll be in a place that we will be able to.
Yeah, I just thought it was interesting that as I did the analysis, I feel like nothing stood out as one being better than the other. I feel like we still land in the same place. We're gonna do what's right for students and respect everyone's rights and follow the law. All right, no other discussion. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, chair opposes. Motion carries.
So then
I opposed.
Okay.
Just, I was against the policy. Next up, sexually explicit materials regulations. See any feedback or changes on these?
I didn't receive feedback on the changes to those.
We have a motion to approve the DOE sexually explicit materials regulation.
So moved.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed? Motion carries. The fiscal year 24 salary increase, Dr. Frazier.
Yes, so I will be making, I'm making a recommendation to the board that we, institute a 2% salary increase to, our faculty and staff, beginning in January. This came from, the Governor General, the final budget amendment that was done, by the state. These funds were included in our budget, but we wanted to make sure that the final budget was approved at the state level before we instituted the whole 7%. And so we did contracts for this current year at the 5%. And now that we know that we will be receiving all of our state funds, we will now want to move forward with the other 2% for our faculty and staff.
And so will we issue an amendment to the current contracts?
Right, so yes, we will issue new contracts and the state is funding this. The state is helping with funding starting January, so that's when this would sort of thing. It would not go back to August. December, right?
Okay.
So if this is approved tonight, then we will communicate this to staff tomorrow, and our update after the board meeting, so hopefully folks will go to Thanksgiving break, excited about a 2% increase coming in.
Come down, right, okay. All right. We have a motion to approve the fiscal year 24 2% salary increase.
So moved.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Any other discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. That's good news. Informational items. So I think we wanted to talk about VSBA legislative proposals that are coming up for vote tomorrow. Ms. Shreves attends the delegate assembly in Williamsburg for VSBA. So that'll be cool. You'll have that handbook. It starts on page 72, I believe.
I also have it in your packet.
Oh, it is?
It's in the informational section.
Thank you, Mr. Lynch. So,
Can I get clarification? Just
Yeah.
on this.
Yeah, the process.
So there's some in the front, I should have asked this before, I guess I didn't really think about it. There's some here that were motion to recommend, right? And then it says motion carried, and there's some that says motion to not recommend, motion carried. So which ones are we supposed to be, like, can we have a dissenting opinion on the ones that they voted to not recommend?
Well, we can have an opinion. What we're taking action, not taking action, but getting the consensus from Ms. Shreves are the four that were, only the four that, basically those are the four that made the agenda for the meeting.
Gotcha.
And so, in the spring, when the VSBA starts that process of soliciting, that's when we can, like I said, we can do a work session, we can do whatever to look at, we wanna look at every single position that's currently in force, as well as make new ones. That's when we would do that and submit that.
Just because they were in here, so I didn't know if I was
Yeah,
supposed to.
it's a lot, but yes, so the
Talk
four
about
that
it.
made the cut are the four that we'll be looking at tonight. So the first one is about school facility construction funds and financing.
I mean, my only concern, I said this to you guys before, is all of it sound like these kinds of things, like helping us to build our schools and pay for this and pay for that. That sounds great, right? But the money comes from somewhere. The money comes from taxpayers. So where specifically is this money gonna come from? To me, it's great to say we need these things, but I would like for there to be more specifics on, okay, well, how do you propose paying for such things? We're in a very not good position economically for people, and I think if you tell them we're proposing this, and now that's gonna make your taxes go up, I don't think that's gonna go over well, and I think we need to, I know this isn't ours, this is what they wanna propose to the state, but we need to be more, aware of what people are going through, and maybe look for ways, instead of saying automatically increase funding for this, maybe they could also propose, hey, maybe we could do a better job at using our money that we already have, we can reallocate funds, maybe we don't need to pay for these programs anymore, pay for these, instead of just always spend more money, spend more money, spend more money, spend more money, which in the end is actually taxpayer money, it's not government money. So I just have an overall concern. They have a whole bunch in that packet that you sent that was like, spend more money on this, and spend more money on that, and it's great. Everybody would love a brand new school, new construction, but it's gotta come from somewhere, so that's my only comment on that.
Yeah,
Just because the Virginia School Boards Association asks for it doesn't mean they'll get it too.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand, I'm hearing your point, and I agree. The and is, these are just what the Virginia School Board is gonna try to take forward to our state government to ask them to do these things. And so many times, a couple of these things that I saw in here, especially for learning programs for English as a second language. I'm using my language, not the language that's in here, but those programs, they've asked for more money consistently over, I think about at least a 3-year period since I've been involved with reading this material. So a lot of times it's a position, but everybody has to allot funds, and you're right,
Yeah,
funds
just
are
because
finite.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe their position could be maybe be more fiscally aware of what's going on, and hey, maybe now's not the time to ask the state for funds for this, because we got bigger fish to fry in the education system, right? Maybe we need the money more for ELL students versus some of these other things. I don't know. You can give them that feedback tomorrow if you want to.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be fairly quiet, except when the voting happens, I think. There are a lot of other people who are gonna discuss a lot in that room, that's been my experience.
yeah, I think from my standpoint, we see so many unfunded mandates already, right? I think it can't hurt to lobby for more funding opportunities. It's not our job to, we don't have taxing authority, right? I think from what you're talking about, Leslie, I think the prioritization should be occurring at, town council level, at state assembly, at federal level. Like, they set the pot, right? Like, there needs to be a better process of prioritization, of understanding what the needs, and it can't be a blanket, right? Like, our needs are different than the Northern Virginia. But I do think when it comes to school safety, school construction, like, we know we're not gonna build a new building anytime soon, a new campus. And I think we know we're gonna have to come up with creative ways to keep our schools in running order. And so I think, the more opportunities that are out there for us to do it, the better. So that would just be my take on it.
And we also had benefited from some of those construction funds. And so that was one way we were able to get those replaced in the elementary school, because of those funds that were just allotted to school divisions. And there were some school divisions that had our conversations with town council would have been different around funding the roof. Like, the town gave us a substantial amount of money, but we also had used our school construction funds and used them well in regards to our roof project.
Are we going through each of these just on their own, or?
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, so I guess would the consensus be if we're okay with legislative proposal number one?
Is yours a hard no, or is it a caveat that?
I'm not against funding for school construction. The overall vibe from the whole entire handbook was money, 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 we need more money for this, money for this, money for this, money for this. And we don't argue with that, everybody needs more money, but,
That's what lobbyists do.
I know. So, it's not like a hard, like, I don't have like a red line to see on it, is what I'm trying to say.
I think the second proposal is around employee criminal background checks.
Yeah.
Number 3 was on school safety zone standards. So this would be a new, the previous two were amending current positions. This is a new position. Yeah, this is, I mean, local, so, yeah. And then the last one was on, truancy.
And this one was when I was like, yes.
Yeah, absolutely, right.
Please,
You know,
yeah.
I mean, I think there's a lot coming down with truancy and attendance that makes sense from a DOE level. One size fits all, so I think it's something that we're challenged with. It's gonna be, if it's tied to accreditation,
Which hopefully that was one of the things in there, was to remove it from
right.
that, which
So-
I agree with.
Yeah, so it's good to see that we're.
Because yeah, attendance is one of those things that we as a school system have very little, if any, control over. We can't control people's kids, they bring their kids to school, if their kids go to the bus, whatever. This one I like, because this is regarding the legal ramifications. So, and having consistent processes, timelines in place, because it's kind of a cluster at times, so.
All right.
I self-edited.
All right, so those are the only 4. So, Ms. Shreves, do you feel like you have a good grip on where we stand and how we will raise that pattern tomorrow?
Yes.
And we thank you for your attendance tomorrow. All right, delegations, Mr. Leach.
You don't have any other.
Delegations, okay. Future agenda items. So our December meeting will be at
At middle school, high school, at 3:45, and staff will be prepared to go request presentation.
will we do that in the cafeteria?
We will do that in the next.
Okay.
Would you guys like to have a closed session after?
After, yeah.
Yes.
Also at your seats, you do have copies of the strategic plan. I hope the font size is okay. You also have copies of the student growth document that we will be sharing with our school community, highlighting our successes over last school year. So take some time to review both of those documents. I think that they came out really well.
Yeah, font size, I can almost read a lot of this without my glasses, so that's a
It
plus.
looks so much better, oh my gosh.
So we appreciate the work of the assistants from the Dominic Group, who's been helping us with communications and graphics and all sorts of things and some branding. And then our team with lots of edits and edits and edits and more edits. And also them working with me and all of my quirks, and when I like boxes and don't like boxes. So it's
We all have our thing.
Just a few.
else?